Hi everyone, it's Barbara from the North Brunswick Library, and I'm coming to you today from my car as I wait for my husband at his doctor's appointment. So anyway, I'm reading to you again from the book, Everything I Need to Know I Learned from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and this is part 3. Be generous with your gratitude. Thank you, 2 of the best words we can ever learn. In fact, thank you is a way of saying I love you. Showing your appreciation. Mr. Rogers showed us the importance of gratitude and modeled ways for us to express it. We watched him write notes of appreciation and thank his guests for sharing their talents. When Mr. McFeely delivered a surprise gift to Mr. Rogers, a marble sculpture from artist Alan Dwight, we saw Mr. Rogers marveling at the art, examining it from all directions. I like the way it feels, he said. I like the way it looks. I like the way I feel when I'm looking at it. You know, the thing I think I like best about it is that you and Mr. Dwight thought to give it to me. Every time I look at it, I'll think of the 2 of you. When you make something for somebody, you hope that person will like it, just as you hope that person likes you. Birthday presents and birthday parties are really little expressions of love, and it's feeling love that makes everybody feel good. That's the real present. The gift of being a receiver. Mr. Rogers showed us that when we graciously accept a gift, or when we allow someone to help us, or when we express to someone how much we need them, we are giving others a good feeling in return. When Mr. Rogers offered Mr. McFeely a couple of fortune cookies, Mr. McFeely gratefully accepted. After Mr. McFeely left, Mr. Rogers closed the door behind him with a big smile on his face, saying, "Can you imagine why I'm feeling so happy right this minute?" It has something to do with Mr. McFeely. It's because he was so pleased when I gave him the fortune cookies. It was like he was giving me a gift the way he accepted mine. Accepting all gifts with grace. When King Friday the 13th heard that Audrey Duck had written a poem that mentioned queens and kings, he decided to celebrate Audrey's talent as a poetry reading in her honor. He ordered that all the neighbors be invited to hear her read. Audrey worried that her poem was too modest for such a big event, but the king insisted on proceeding. After a long introduction by him, Audrey read her short poem, and though the king was initially surprised that it wasn't more grandiose, he realized that even a modest gift is to be appreciated, and he graciously thanked her. I found it just the proper length after my fine introduction. Applause again for our perfect poet, Audrey Duck. Being kind is trying to think what somebody else might like and trying to help them with it. Generosity. Being kind has nothing to do with your outsides. No, kindness is an inside thing. You can be very big outside, but kind inside. You can be very small outside, but very big and kind inside. Be a helper. Haven't you found that the best way to be happy is to be helping somebody else? Many ways to help. Time and again, in both his real neighborhood and in make-believe, Mr. Rogers showed us how people could work together to help one another, with simple acts of kindness as well as larger gestures of care and support. We can all be helpers in all kinds of ways, big and small. What kinds of things are you good at helping with? I remember one child telling me one day, "Mr. Rogers, I'm only 4 years old, but I can do some kind things." She was learning to be a helper, and I trust that you are too. I'm proud of every good thing that you want to do for others. Helping is loving. When King Friday discovered that the people in nearby Northwood had no food, he rallied his community to help. The neighbors sprang into action, planting gardens across the entire neighborhood of Make-Believe to grow food to give to the residents of Northwood. Mr. Rogers explained, King Friday declared an all-out effort. You know what that means? It means that everyone will get out and make an effort to help. That kind of effort is a way of expressing love. Heroes are everyday people. In the neighborhood of Make-Believe, we saw an example of neighbors offering support after a fire damage the Platypus family home. Lady Aberlin, Handyman Negri, King Friday, and Lady Elaine formed a volunteer fire brigade to put out the fire. Lady Elaine offered her museum go-round as temporary shelter for the Platypus family, and the next day, Mayor Maggie and neighbor Aber arrived from Westwood to bring supplies and help rebuild the Platypus mound. When anybody's in trouble, we try to do what we can, said neighbor Aber. Neighbors helping neighbors. Mr. Rogers introduced us to helpers all over his neighborhood. We met friendly teachers and crossing guards, artists and doctors, musicians and more. He showed us how people can contribute their own special skills and talents to make a neighborhood a better place to live. There are many helpful people in this world, aren't there? The more you grow into a helpful person yourself, the happier you'll find this world of ours is. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I am always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in this world. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, and the next time we're back, we'll continue with Feed the Fish. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.